Why is it so hard to recover and come back from narcissist abuse? Once you understand this, it will help you along your journey of recovery. There are three main areas of trauma that we experience with a narcissist. We've got the emotional trauma, we've got the psychological trauma, but then we have one that is oftentimes overlooked and not spoken about enough. It's the physiological aspect, and what I mean by that is literally brain damage. If you compare those three attributes of trauma to a physical wound, you break a leg in an accident, and once you understand this comparison, you're going to be like, oh, I get it now. And then you can start focusing on the right area to speed up your recovery. So you break a leg, the body says, ouch, and immediately it begins the recovery healing process. We feel the pain. It's the red flag, it's the warning that something is out of line, something is wrong. Maybe there'll be bleeding, maybe there'll be swelling, but the body has physiologically let you know something is wrong, something needs attention, something needs to be fixed. And that does not happen with narcissist trauma. There is no immediate physical red flag to let us know something is out of line, which is why narcissist trauma is so hard to fix without addressing this one main area. Brain damage, physical damage to the brain. Not psychological, not emotional, but actual physiological damage to your brain, which we don't think about, talk about enough, and as a result, we don't address that part of the recovery and the healing process. Unfortunately, when it comes to recovery and healing, the brain is a little bit more complex than when we just simply break a leg or another bone. Let's take a look and analyze on a fundamental level what makes up the brain. The brain is divided into three major components, starting with the main brain stem, which is arguably the birth of our brain before it evolved into the other stages. But you've got the brain stem. From the brainstem, you've got what's called the limbic system. It's kind of at the center of your brain. It's kind of a small area, and it's divided into the hippocampus and the amygdala. And I'm going to come back to those 2 points because that's what's really hard in regards to the brain damage. And then we've got what's called the prefrontal cortex or neocortex right here. The frontal lobe is designed to deal with the more emotional aspects of life. The frontal cortex is equipped to be logical, rational. That's how we break down and analyze and come to conclusions without getting too worried, because there's a logical aspect to it that we can break down, compartmentalize, and understand. Now, the limbic system, the part at the center, made up of the amygdala and hippocampus, is a little bit more complicated. That's where our emotions get managed. And that's really hard to understand. So the amygdala, what happens when it's received ongoing trauma from a narcissist, what starts to happen is it expands. It goes into heightened sensitivity, and every minor threat becomes overwhelming. You are now living in a state of heightened stress. Throw cortisol into the equation. Your amygdala is exploding. It cannot handle everyday stress, let alone the stress inspired by the narcissist. So every little bit of stress that you experience on a daily basis becomes overwhelming. That leads to looks like, feels like brain fog, memory loss, inability to concentrate. You've lost interest because the limbic system is under attack. It's about to explode. It cannot handle another drop. And in stark contrast, the hippocampus deals with long-term memory. So I experienced a trauma when I was younger. It gets stored in my long-term memory banks way back there, and my brain can differentiate between that which is happening today and that which happened a long time ago. So something that happened a long time ago that was traumatizing in the healthy brain, it's not an immediate threat. It processes that threat very differently as a distant memory. But when the limbic system is overflooded with cortisol, A past memory, a trigger, becomes overwhelming as if you are reliving it in the present day because the brain doesn't quite differentiate between past memory and an immediate and current threat right now. So that's what your brain is experiencing. It is literally, physically, physiologically under damage. It needs to be physically repaired. And so if you can logically look at this growth curve in order for you to get back healthy, and you start to understand, well, this is what's happened, now I need to reverse some of these things in order to minimize that brain damage, you can then start strategically approaching and attacking your recovery process. You've injured yourself, you've broken a leg, you've torn a muscle, you immediately need rest. So as you're going through this process of rehab, because here's the good news, by the way, about brain damage, it can be reversed. So as you're going through the process of recovery, allow yourself, afford yourself extra rest. If that means you've got to sleep extra hours, several days at a time, it's your body, it's your brain letting you know we need rest. We need to recuperate. We need to regenerate. Reduce the swelling in your amygdala. Mindfulness, meditation, hiking in nature, art, creativity, exercise, minimizing the cortisol in your brain, re-regulating your nervous system. A new one that I recently discovered is putting your hands in soil. Touching the soil actually stimulates serotonin, and serotonin is the mood stabilizing chemical that the brain develops. There are some very effective strategies, but you've got to focus on and understand that your brain has experienced physical damage which needs to be addressed. Don't undermine the damage that a narcissist can do, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, but also physiologically. Go out there, make yourself better, find yourself again, come back whole, ready to take on the world, because the world unto itself is not easy, let alone when you have experienced the torture of narcissist abuse. My name is Vital Germain. Thank you for watching. If this brought value, please make sure to like and follow, and if not, subscribe. Thank you.